The college football experience, JMU Dukes 2022 season preview episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Networks, presented by WynnBET. Bet $50 at WynnBET and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBET. Download the WynnBET app now or visit wynnbet.com. That's WYNNBet.com to start winning today. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. You already play fantasy on Sleeper, but now you can win cold, hard cash with their brand new over/under game. Just head to sleeper.com/SGP on your phone to join the SGPN group, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. That's sleeper.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by us. Yes, the SGPN app is live in the App Store and Google Play Store. It is free to download, and it is your home for all of our picks and podcasts. And right now, we have just relaunched our merch store where you can get all your favorite SGPN gear. So just go to store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com and remember, folks, to let it ride.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. James Madison Dukes, the JMU Dukes 2022 season preview episode. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dad, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price, but no one touches Dundee.
Ho, ho, ho! Whoa, we've been doing this for years. Previewing every single team, a solo podcast for every single team in the land. Normally it's been 130 over the past few years, but this year it's 131. And for a long time, this guy has been preaching. He's been preaching about these Dukes. Give it up for my co-host, former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh. Oh yeah. That Tecmo vibes. JMU has the golden greatness, just like Tecmo Super Bowl.
First down to the FBS, the JMU Dukes, buddy. You've been saying it. You've been saying it.
Yeah, buddy.
You've been saying it for years when they beat Virginia Tech in Blacksburg.
When they beat ECU.
Whoa.
In Greenville.
Whoa. I mean,
let's not skip over that one. Hey, where did Sean go to college?
Penn State.
When we play Penn State, they're going down too, and that'll make JMU 3 for 3 in their last 3 games against SGPN competition.
Well, I mean, when they played ECU, see, Duke gave us an implant, Scotty Montgomery. If you're lucky, it wasn't Lincoln Riley and Ruffin McNeil. All right, but Scotty Montgomery was sitting there saying,
"What the fuck did I do wrong?"
We watched that one together at a bar. Colby was basically getting hammered and drinking his sorrows away.
It's ridiculous. Scotty Montgomery, the worst thing that ever happened to East Carolina football. But shout out to JMU because I love FCS football. They had a great run there. I mean, you go through, and by the way, who's East Carolina's coach now? It's Mike Houston.
Ooh, former national champion JMU coach.
Yes, you go back and look at JMU. They've been a rich program. You can go back to 1975, Patty C. Undefeated season. All right,
there you go. First national championship. Really?
Yeah. So I mean, you go back to the 80s. They went to the FCS playoffs. You went back to, now only once in the 80s, but then in the 90s they became kind of started to become a name brand in the FCS playoffs, and then the 2000s come and they won the national championship in the 2004. Yes, won the national championship. Then they went to the playoffs a bunch of other times. They won it again with Mike Houston in 2016, but they've been to the championship quite a couple times. Also, they did have a couple Buffalo Bill moments, but this program has been rolling. I mean, they haven't had a losing season in 20 years. 20 years. So I think it was the right time to make the jump. I was surprised the Sun Belt was still open for business after JMU had turned them down.
What was that, 2013?
I feel like, yeah, somewhere in that vicinity. And now here we go, man. I mean, I'm very excited for you. I'm very excited because I love the Sun Belt. I know NC Nick wanted to get on this episode. He's busy. Couldn't get it done, but we're all excited about this. I would say we partied at JMU a number of times.
We could regale you with stories of drunken stupidity for hours, and I think we have probably over the course of this podcast.
So now they're jumping up. They're joining the Sun Belt, and they're joining the Sun Belt East, not the West.
Yeah, that makes
the East
sense.
is. I mean, well, I'm just saying the East is brutal.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious what you're gonna say. But you know what, man? Before we get to this, I normally play the Dundee music for each team, and I tell them their success story. And I say, this is the JMU. I say whatever. Like, this is the Iowa State Cyclones, right? But you know what? I think it's only fitting that we do a close up. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If not, subscribe to the College Football Experience on YouTube. Patty C.
Folks, these are the JMU Dukes. Come on. This is the place where you go when you want to get absolutely hammered and get out of your college, right, and make a road trip. When you want to get laid by a bunch of co-eds with 70% chicks at this school, this is where you go. Okay? Stories of debauchery abound, but guess what? We have a football team too, and we've started to play some ball. Virginia Tech knows all about it. 2010, when they won the ACC and went undefeated in the ACC, who'd they take an L to? James Madison University. Guess what? We played UVA in basketball a couple years after they won the national championship. Took them down too. We're the best team in this state. We're coming at you guys, and all over the Harrisonburg campus, whether that be Fox Hills, Hunters Ridge, South Main Street. I don't care if they call it the Harrison. They went woke in Harrisonburg. It's Turner Ashby, right? We're getting hammered there too, and we're going to celebrate a great season here for the Harrisonburg.
And they're coming for the ACC. I read an article this offseason.
Look, Rockingham County is going to be rocking this year.
The value of this program, the amount of money that comes into the institution, they are a sleeping giant. Many say that. Honestly, I read an article. Remember, I sent you that article. That was by The Athletic, I believe.
Well, if Virginia Tech can do it, JMU can do it. I'll say that much, because Blacksburg's got nothing on Harrisonburg.
Well, my friend, that is what I'm talking about. I am excited.
And you hung in with the best college football team in the land.
Whoa!
Hello.
Let's talk a little bit about this though, because Curt Cignetti, his brother is the offensive coordinator at Pitt now. Curt Cignetti, 33-5 as a head coach.
Pretty solid.
33-5 as a head coach.
Although when you consider what Mike Houston did, I want to say, what did he do? He was 37-5. So, 5 more wins here, and we've got the best coach from a win percentage standpoint in JMU history. Can we rattle off 5 in a row to start the season? It's going to be tough.
We'll get to it here. But yeah, Curt Cignetti doing a fantastic job as head coach of the Dukes. Let's hop into it, man. We preview all these teams. We go through, and this is an interesting one because they are jumping up from the FCS, but their offensive coordinator, his name is Mike Shanahan.
Unfortunately, no relation. He looks about 12 years old from the pictures here. I can tell you this: last year they're normally, we watch a ton of FCS here at SGPN, and they're normally a power run team. They have been a power run team, a physical run team.
Last year they got dinged up on the offensive line and in the backfield, and I feel like they threw more than normal.
Hey, when you have the giraffe, Cole Johnson, back in that backfield, chucking the ball around with that pencil thin neck there, you got to throw the ball.
I think they're going to bounce back to running with the health of their offensive line and also some other things. But they were 5th in scoring offense in the FCS last year, 42nd in rush offense, 17th in pass offense, charting at number 17 in total offense. Only 4 starters back, Patty C. Does that concern you?
Of course, and some of the transfers we lost.
Yeah, Cole Lawn Chair Johnson's gone. All right, he's done at JMU, but in comes transfer Todd Centeio. I was telling NC Nick this on a phone call. That Centeio, who's coming in, he transferred in from Colorado State. He was their starting quarterback in the Mountain West last year. Now he is not your drop back. He's not Cole Johnson. He's kind of an athlete.
Yeah, he
can make some throws, but he's not like a throwing quarterback, I would say. But he's battling it out right now with Billy Atkins and Elijah Barrett the third. I expect Centeio to get the job, and I actually think with going back to your heavy run base, I think Centeio fits, and I think Centeio's legs could also be a weapon.
Well, I'll tell
for
you
the
what,
Dukes. Yeah,
in 2004 when we won the national championship, we got a at the time group of 5 transfer in Justin Riscotti that had a very similar kind of run pass strengths.
Yeah,
and so you do combine that with a run heavy team, and like we said, I don't know, we haven't gotten into defense, but they were a dominant defense last year.
Oh yeah. So, but
that bodes well.
I think they're going to be more ground and pound this year, back to their roots.
Well, again, losing one of their top receivers to the transfer portal, which we'll get to, but one of their good, best receivers coming back, so they do have some weapons.
Well, I also think Cignetti likes to run first, and I think last year he was kind of forced to go outside of what they normally do.
Yeah.
But at the running back spot, Percy, how do I pronounce this guy's name? Agyei-Obese?
I think it's Agyei-Obese. Yeah.
Agyei-Obese. Now I know this guy. I'm familiar with his name because when he covered, last year he got injured after about 3 or 4 games, out for the year. But when we covered the FCS in the spring, he was a fucking beast.
Yeah. 2019, he rushed for 1,200 yards.
1,200 yards, 19 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He is back, and I expect between him and Centeio, I think they're going to be pretty good on the ground. Now, like you said, 1 of 3 wideouts back, and that is Kris Thornton. He's back.
Very similar stats to Antwain Wells, who we lost.
Yes.
So
yes, and 3 of 5 starters back on the O line, led by Cole Potts, and I even think it's more than 3 of 5 considering who played because of injury last year. So I think the O line. Now I don't know how deep the O line is, but I do think it is going to be better than last year, and I think the ground attack will be a point of emphasis for Curt Cignetti this year.
Pound the rock, baby, and that kind of fits with a lot of the teams we're going to be playing with. Certainly with
Coastal Carolina, App State.
Yeah. Physical football will be played in the Sun Belt. I love the
Sun Belt. The Sun Belt East is going to be so fun to watch week in, week out. Defensive coordinator Bryant Haynes is back. This guy did a great fucking job last year. Well, in most years, I feel like he is 7th in scoring defense a year ago, 8th in rush defense, 21st in pass defense, charting at 8th in the nation in total defense. The best turnover margin in all the FCS. They're going to need that. They run the 3-3-5, and 2 of 3 starters are back on the defensive line, led by Tony Thurston. 1 of 3 linebackers is back, and that is Kris Thornton. Probably butchering that. My apologies.
Your guess is as good as mine on the pronunciation. Let's be honest.
Just 1 of 5 back in the secondary, and that's safety Sam Kidd. Patty C. Should we be worried about, say, 4 starters back on defense? It looked like it was going to be 5, but their best defensive player, well, we'll get to him in a second, but he's no longer with the Dukes.
Of course, these are losses that have to be accounted for, and they dampen the prospects of year one. We have to take these into account.
Well, we shall see. We're going to talk transfer portal. We're going to talk. If you're watching on YouTube, you see the sweet ass graphics. Shout out to the SGPN graphics team. We're going to talk recruiting. We're going to talk game by game, going, game by game, projecting how we think JMU will do. Only 11 games on the schedule this year, but We'll dive into that in a second. But first, I gotta get us paid. Patty C. I want to tell you that the JMU Dukes 2022 season preview episode on the college football experience is brought to you by WinBet. Bet $50 at WinBet and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WinBet. Download the WinBet app now or visit winbet.com. That's WYNNBet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. You already play fantasy on Sleeper, but now you can win cold, hard cash with their brand new over-under game. Just head to sleeper.com/SGP on your phone and join the SGPN group. And Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100 at sleeper.com/SGP. We're also brought to you by us. The SGPN merch store is active. We just relaunched it. Tons of awesome gear to check out from your favorite SGPN shows. So just go to store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com. That's store.sportsgamblingpodcast.com to look. I mean, you'll look in style. You will look like
Flair meets Macho Man.
Boom. And for that, here you're gonna be like this. All right. Is this?
It's so hard
Oh, no. You're gonna look like, where the hell is my?
Get my limousine right on 85.
Hold on, this one.
The best looking
There we
man,
go. There we go.
the best dressed man, long limousines, jet airplanes, custom made clothes.
Oh yeah.
And any woman in the world I want, just like that.
Just by going to our merch store.
Yes, get a college experience shirt. Come on, do it. We're also brought to you by Dave. No, I'm not talking about that place where everyone goes when you're hammered in Harrisonburg. Dave's.
Dave's Taverna.
Yeah, shout out to Dave's Taverna. That I've spent many of drunken nights.
Oh yeah.
Horking down sandwiches.
Drunken hero.
Yeah.
However you pronounce that.
Yeah.
It's still up.
Gyro. Euro.
In
I think.
Harrisonburg,
Yeah.
I think it's a gyro.
Yeah, in Harrisonburg they say gyro and quesadilla.
Yeah.
All right. But we're brought to you by Dave, and I'm not talking about that sweet ass place in Harrisonburg. I'm talking about Dave. All right, this banking app that can help you get up to $500 instantly with extra cash. Now, look, we all live paycheck to paycheck at certain points in our life, and we've had those. Sometimes money can be an issue. You know what I mean? No matter the scenario, even if you're, I don't know, fucking really rich. You spend more, and all of a sudden you might find yourself in a jam where your money's tied up. You're moving houses. I don't know, and all of a sudden, you want to go somewhere, or something comes up, like JMU jumping to the FBS. And you say, "Shit, honey, we got to get the season tickets now." All right. Well, you need that extra money. Maybe you give Dave. Maybe you can't find that extra money. You call your brother, and he says, "Hey, go to hell. You still haven't paid me back from the jar of pickles you ate in ninth grade." Right. And then she said, "You know what? You don't need to call the brother. You call Dave." All right.
Dave is your new brother.
Yes. Dave is your new brother. And this is, I mean, you can finally tackle those expenses that have been stressing you out without really any hangups. There's no interest. There's no credit check needed. So download the Dave app from the App Store right now. That's DAVE. Sign up for an extra cash account and get $500 instantly. For terms and conditions, go to dave.com/legal. Instant transfer fees apply. Banking provided by Evolve, member FDIC. We're also brought to you by IP Vanish. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well be giving away all your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why here at SGPN Studios, we use IP Vanish VPN to stay truly private and secure on the internet. IP Vanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting, 100% of your data. That means your private details, your passwords, your communications, your browsing history, and more will be completely shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IP Vanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's that simple. So go to ipvanish.com/SGP and use the promo code SGP and claim 70% off your savings. That's ipvanish.com/SGP. Boom. All right. We are back talking JMU Dukes football, Patty C. This is a rich program. I want to just people don't realize, Charles Haley,
5 Super Bowl rings. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a guy that, is I think a Hall of Famer. If not now, then he will be. Gary Clark, one of the best receivers in the Washington Redskins history. And he's, I think, a fringe Hall of Famer, right? People are lobbying to try to get him in there.
Probably deserves it. Straight baller.
Touchdown, Washington Redskins.
Yeah. Courtesy of Gary Clark many a time.
Yeah, I mean Scott Norwood. He was.
He had a tough moment.
He's a good guy.
But we still support him in Harrisonburg.
I like Scott Norwood. Man.
I'll take Scott Norwood, and we'll get a beer anytime.
Yes, Jimmy Moreland for the Washington Redskins.
There we go.
Who's currently a Washington Redskin. Vad Lee.
Oh yeah, of the Pittsburgh Maulers.
Just played in the USFL with the Pittsburgh Maulers. Got the start at the quarterback spot.
Gave him the first win of the season.
Yeah. Who was the guy that was on the Cowboys? Ben DiNucci at quarterback. I mean, this you can go on and on and on. They've produced some really good pros. Just be aware. This team can play some ball. Now the transfer portal, Patty. See, we try to grade the transfer portal every single year for every single team, especially in the past 2 years when it's gone absolutely batshit crazy. JMU, I'm curious what you think, because they brought in most likely starting quarterback Todd Centeio from Colorado State.
That's a great get.
That is a great get. Wide receiver Troy Lewis comes in, and Troy Lewis comes in from the University of East Carolina. So he's obviously weak-hearted. I'm joking, Troy. Maybe there's a better opportunity for you. I don't know. I figure East Carolina's got really, really good players at every single position. So maybe you couldn't get the field, and Harrisonburg offers you that. You know what I mean? Cornerback Jarius. Ramonk. How do I pronounce that?
I think it's got the little the Q at the end.
Yeah,
there.
Ramonk from Arkansas State comes in from the Sun Belt West to the Sun Belt East. Safety Deon Jones from Boston College comes in. I think that's a great get. Running back AJ Davis from Pitt, who I'm very familiar with, and I think he could be a force also if the injuries are an issue. I think both your running back situation is going to be pretty good. Defensive lineman Jamare Edwards from Marshall, and he was a really good player at Marshall.
Yeah, wasn't he a Nagurski finalist?
Yeah. So keep an eye on Jamare Edwards from Marshall. Also wide receiver Kobe White from Boston College, and cornerback Antoine Booth from Michigan State.
Boom.
But at the same time, the Dukes did take a couple hits. Most recently in the month of May, some late transfers. Wesley McCormick and Schmitz. Wesley McCormick at cornerback leaves James Madison for West Virginia. Ouch.
Yeah. Slap in the old face. I mean, I hope you're coming back to get your degree from JMU.
Yeah. But he goes to WV, and that just happened late in May. And same with this was the huge one here. Diamante Tucker Dorsey, their star linebacker, is a Texas Longhorn. Patty, see, I thought Texas. What do you mean? They get 5 stars.
2 stars apparently.
Huh. Funny how that works out.
It is funny how that works out. How
and Wesley McCormick wasn't even any star.
Wasn't any stars, and neither was Antoine Wells.
Yes, Antoine Wells, who Patty C is referring to, their JMU star receiver from a year ago. He is now at South Carolina, and it's funny they gave him a 4-star transfer rating.
Oh,
so wait, I don't understand.
Yeah,
he wasn't a 4-star before.
He was a 0-star. He had no star rating when he.
And now he's a 4-star.
Apparently,
it's like. Do they even do their work at these people just rank?
Maybe I'm looking at
recruiting rankings.
When I'm looking at his page, I'm not seeing any stars related to his time as a recruit at JMU. So, I do think that there's probably an element to that. The fact that JMU's been as competitive as they have, once we get to these recruiting rankings and they're horrifically low, then everything Colby talks about the recruiting rankings being kind of a load of heaping bullshit. Kind of he's got a point here. There it is. Celebrate. That's the champion music right there. Victory he claims, and I think he may have a point in this particular case. There it is.
I actually still think they won the portal because I think a starting quarterback is more important than a starting linebacker in 2022 football. And I think bringing in some of those other pieces, I think the AJ Davis kid from Pitt and a couple of those Boston College players.
I think without a doubt, Centeio is the huge difference maker they needed. All due respect,
and Jamare Edwards from Marshall.
Yeah.
I mean, that was huge
getting
too.
a huge defender. All due respect to Cole Johnson, but like the term lawn chair has never been more appropriately applied to anyone. And I can tell you in how many clutch situations we needed someone with some playmaking ability, not just a game manager. And he didn't have it. I mean, that was the case against North Dakota State last year when he just heaves the ball up.
That game should have been in Harrisonburg, but the powers that be robbed you.
They knew we were out the door.
Yeah.
They wanted to preserve their powerhouse in the FCS, who was going to stay in the FCS. They didn't want us going out the door with the title. So, he threw an interception to end the game and end our chances to win the national championship. But now we got an athlete, and I think that's going to bode well for us.
Well, Patty C, talk to me about the recruiting rankings.
All right. Well, I mean, here you go. It's the worst probably in the entire country that we're going to do here. Last 5 years, 171, 149, 178, 140, and 170.
But there's only been 130 teams. How are they playing for the national championship?
That's a great question. And how are they beating Power 5 teams and competing with other Power 5 and Group of 5 teams? It is a darn good question. It just goes to show that, if you get an offer from Virginia Tech, all of a sudden you're a 3-star. If you don't, you're a no star at JMU. And then,
but these players were going to the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know. This is probably the thing that causes the most, drama or most head scratches for the people at 24/7.
Yeah. Well, look, they only play 11 games this year. So here's how it works when you join. So for 1 year, they're not allowed to win the Sun Belt this year. You can play in the Sun Belt, but you're not allowed. So if they run the table in the Sun Belt, they still do not play for the Sun Belt championship. There is a 1 year kind of grace period, I guess.
Probationary.
Whatever the fuck you would say. They only have 11 games on the schedule. So when you think about betting this, make sure you look at this graphic here, this little asterisk. So every other college football team in the FBS is playing 12. So essentially, Vegas is saying 6.5 wins out of 11 games, and they're giving you their plus 120 on the over. So if you are bullish on the Dukes and you go over 6.5, that's basically saying they're going to go 7-4. Patty C, let's hop into it. I can't wait. We were just looking at the schedule for Saturday, September 3rd, and Rick Stockstill comes into Bridgeforth Stadium. The Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders against the JMU Dukes. I cannot wait. I'm telling you, I know you think I'm joking. I would rather watch this game than a lot of other games that are big name games on Saturday, September 3rd. This one we're gonna watch, and we're gonna watch closely because this game's gonna be fun. And Middle Tennessee's good.
6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. It's prime time.
Yeah,
prime time watch.
Middleton. I think who's gonna win this game?
JMU is gonna throttle Middle Tennessee in the first FBS game hosted in Harrisonburg.
I do think with the energy that's gonna be around that crowd, and I like Stockstill. I think he's an underrated coach, and I think Middle Tennessee is gonna be decent.
Yeah,
I think with the energy around the crowd, the momentum. I think Middle Tennessee gets the dub.
You think Middle Tennessee?
I think James Madison gets the dub.
I would have to.
But I do expect this to be a game.
Yeah, I think. I mean, let's be honest. JMU has early on in the early 2010s got throttled a few times by some FBS teams, but and some really more Power 5 teams. But Group of 5 teams they've done pretty well against. I think they may be undefeated recently. And
normally I feel like you could take any of like the FCS like final 8 or 12 in the playoffs. If you drop them in the FBS,
they'll be a mid-level team.
They'll make a bowl. Yeah. They'll make a bowl. I got them 1-0.
I do too.
So then the Norfolk State Spartans come to town. I got them 2-0.
2-0. Let's go Dukes.
They get a bye, and this is a key bye because the following game is in my opinion, you can make a case it's the best team on their schedule.
I mean, you can, although I think Coastal Carolina would definitely have something to say about that.
Not last year though, App State or Louisville, but at App State, Kid Brewer Stadium. You know, I love this stadium. I think it's one of the best in college football. I'm on App State.
I think with the head start they've had, with the full 82 man roster, 84 man roster, JMU coming up from 65. So this is their first year kind of filling that full roster out. You have to, or at least from a scholarship standpoint, you have to figure App State's got a little head start. Plus playing at home, got to give it to the Mountaineers.
2-1, but I think that game's awesome.
Yeah.
NC Nick's going to be at that game, might I add. And I think this is I mean, it wouldn't shock me if this is 24-24 in the fourth.
Oh yeah. They've been competitive.
So I got them 2-1. Then they welcome Jake Spavital. It's a huge year for Jake Spavital. I think this job could be open in the future if he does not do good this year. So Jake Spavital comes in with his high-powered offense, comes into Bridgeport Stadium. This one will be interesting because you have basically two different styles. Spavital kind of runs air raid schemes, and JMU is going to run down your throat.
Well, Texas State squeaked out an overtime victory, a quadruple
I think JMU is better than
victory.
Texas. And Everett Withers left JMU for Texas State, right?
He did. Little salt in the wound there. Yeah, let's get revenge on that.
I'm going to take JMU.
There we go. What is that? 3-1.
3-1. The number is 6.5. Remember, and what a great start to the season. Now, and I even like these road games you get here. Saturday, October 8th, you are at Arkansas State. Butch Jones is the coach there. James Blackman, the former Florida State quarterback, is their starting QB. They were terrible last year, but they've been recruiting well. They've been bringing in transfers. This is at Centennial Bank Stadium in Jonesboro. Call me crazy. I'm taking JMU.
2-10 last year with win over ULM by 3 and an FCS. That's their other win. I like JMU here too.
4-1.
4-1.
Back-to-back away. Now this is sneaky because back-to-back away, but they go to Georgia Southern in Statesboro, Georgia, to take on Clay Helton and Georgia Southern. They're in the middle of ditching the triple option. I always wonder how long that's going to take. I'm taking JMU to win.
No, you know what I'll say? Let's be a little bit humble here. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. I'm going to give them the L on this strength of that back-to-back road trip. So we'll say 4-2 and be realistic here about this. I don't think it's unrealistic to say 5-1.
Yeah, I mean they could lose to Middle Tennessee week 1. I think Middle Tennessee is if so far. I think the hardest game is App State, and the second hardest is Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, and Marshall's been good. Oh, well, I guess
I haven't got to Marshall yet. Yeah, because I have Marshall beating you on Saturday, October 22nd.
Interesting.
So I have them 5-1 to start the season. They lose to Marshall on Saturday, October 22nd. I have them 5-2 now.
Well, I have us beating Marshall, so we both will be 5.
Okay.
And have them at 5-2 going into the bye week for Thanksgiving.
Get your second bye week. This is it's tough though on Halloween.
Or not Halloween. Not Thanksgiving.
Not Thanksgiving. Halloween.
We got a party in Harrisonburg on Halloween.
Second batch of back-to-back away games. You're heading to the Shack to take on the Louisville Cardinals on Saturday, November 5th. Patty C. Louisville's gonna win.
Yeah.
So I got you now at what 5-3.
It's tough because Malik Cunningham is still there. That's just too much to overcome. 5-3.
Now
here is where the over or under is made or broken.
Oh man, back-to-back away. The second end, they head to Norfolk, Virginia to take on Ricky Ronnie's Old Dominion Monarchs.
Yeah, which had been a pretty good series.
It's a game.
6-7 last year was ODU.
That was his first year though as head coach. I thought he did great. They were projected to win like 2 games.
Kept it within 7 at UTEP, which is a nice look. Lost in overtime at Marshall last year, and then closed out the season with, or the regular season at least, was 4 straight wins, most of which were pretty impressive. Check that, 5 straight wins to close the regular season.
I'm taking it to you.
I'm taking JMU, buddy.
Oh,
we're gonna start this rivalry off.
Actually,
right.
you know what? I'll switch. I'll take JMU. I'll
there
take
you
JMU.
Go. Screw the Monarchs.
So 6-3 right now.
Yeah.
Now they host the Georgia State Panthers on Saturday, November 19th. Sean Elliott's bunch.
They'll probably
lose.
They'll probably lose that.
I'm taking Georgia State.
Georgia State almost
should have beat Auburn.
beat Auburn.
Beat Tennessee 2 years ago.
Look, I'm not taking the under on my own team. I'm calling for the upset here.
I like it.
JMU gets it done at home.
I like it. Then they host the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers and Grayson McCall.
It's looking like I'm going to be at this game. Anyone
a
who wants to
great
come
game.
drink in Harrisonburg
There
with
you
old
go.
Patty C.
There you go.
Come
Hit
on
us
through.
up at TCE on SGPN or at Patty C on on Twitter at Patty C831. You know what? Bucket.
You're calling an upset against Coastal?
Either Georgia State or Coastal. Give
There
me
it is.
7-4.
There
Give me 7-4.
I wouldn't bet my entire paycheck.
I was
on
thinking 6-5. Either way, you're gonna have a winning season.
Yeah,
They will have a winning year one.
you got to be happy
6-5
with that.
or 7-4.
They do have some high expectations.
I know I can't just say both. I'm going over. Cignetti.
7-4. There it is.
Cignetti magic. All right, folks. I'm on the over. Patty C's on the over. Patty C says they'll be in the ACC if there's an ACC in 15 years.
No matter what, if you're in Harrisonburg, you're going to be getting drunk and enjoying life. And if we're winning, it's going to be just as good.
There you go, folks. Subscribe to the College Football Experience as we break down all 131 college football teams. We talk college football year round here. All right. And we do a solo podcast for every single team in the land. All right. Check us out. Tell a friend. We're on YouTube. Subscribe over there as well. And we also host the College Basketball Experience. How about JMU beating Virginia last year? I like their team.
How about us chanting "fuck Tony Bennett"?
I like it. I like it
that too.
You play in Charlottesville this year.
Oh man, let's sweep
Revenge.
that
And we
series.
got you covered on the College Basketball Experience. Subscribe, tell a friend. We also host the College Baseball Experience with Noah Beanick. Check that out as well. And if you give us a 5-star review on the College Football Experience, take a screenshot, find us on Twitter at @TheColbyD, and we'll send you a College Football Experience T-shirt, or you can find us at TCE on SGPN. Either one, we'll send you one. It'll look like that pennant over there in the corner if you're watching on YouTube.
And apparently they're really soft.
Very
t-shirts.
soft, very soft. They've
comfortable
been
t-shirt.
tested.
Yeah.
All right, we've had William the Refrigerator Perry test all of our shirts. No, seriously, check it out. We'll send you a free T-shirt. Get it and check out all of our podcasts, folks. All right, the Sports Gambling Podcast is already going through NFL props. If you're a Redskins fan, they have you covered. You know, we grew up in the area. We are
Redskins fans for life.
Yes,
yeah.
yes, and all the other teams too. You know what I mean? Like NFL props, fantasy football stuff's going on. Check out sportsgamblingpodcast.com or the Fantasy Football Gambling Podcast. And all of our stuff, MLB Gambling Podcast. If you're an Orioles or Nationals fan, whatever, check out that. The Golf Gambling Podcast, the MMA Gambling Podcast, the Soccer Gambling Podcast. We got the World Cup coming in a bit.
DC United.
DC United representing. What else?
Not having a great
What
year.
else can we throw out there? MLFB Gambling Podcast, right?
There we
Major
go.
League Football, USFL Gambling Podcast, which we just host. Yeah, well, we got a ton. NHL Gambling Podcast. All right. The Caps won a championship not that long ago. All right. Check out all that stuff. You'll dig it all. Yeah. Patty C's on the over. I'm on the over. This is the JMU Dukes 2022 season preview episode. Welcome to the FBS. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.